Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we have quite the series of rabbit holes we're going to be going down, beginning with this tweet right here, sharing a preview of a film titled Gaming While Black. And of course, it sounds just the way it's described. It is black people describing their experience as a gamer. And in this case, one particular person, I guess, is adjacent. We'll get into that, don't worry. But in this, we're going to cover some of the points they're trying to make in this preview. We're also going to look at the people involved with the production of this film and how many of them are connected to some current gaming drama going on. So without further ado, let's get a little sneak peek of Gaming While Black.
The best ideas come out of not being the same.
There were just like little breadcrumbs along the way of like, oh, wait a minute, there's me in here somewhere. You want people to just recognize that this is important without the extra gasoline on the fire.
Okay, so there's a lot of points there. Beginning with the whole, there's a lot of me in there with these games. And as always, I think this push for mirrored representation in every single piece of media consumed is ridiculous. If you want some me in there, why don't you play a round of real life mirror simulator and just go to find the nearest mirror and stare at it until you're bored. You'll feel lots of representation with that. But anyways, it seems very clear to a lot of people in this documentary and also on Twitter and other places like that, that representation plays an equal or even greater value than actual storytelling or characters or gameplay. And that's a really weird thing, and it's pretty hard to take people like that seriously. On top of that, this mention of gasoline on the fire. The people putting gasoline on the fire is the gaming industry, at least the bad parts of the gaming industry, whether it's developers, journalists, what have you, making very disparaging statements about gamers. And 2024 really proved just how bad it can get with all of the bad actors causing a lot of trouble and damaging the reputations of a lot of studios because they can't keep their mouth shut. Like, how are you supposed to react as a gamer when people in the industry are openly saying they hate you? That's adding gasoline on the fire. Everything that is involved with these bad actors, everything they do is about race and dividing people. And this film is literally dividing people. It's putting labels on gamers. They're not just gamers, they're black gamers now. We're literally separating people by race. And also, if you're interested, this is the individual right here. He said that, oh, that's me, right? This James Davis individual. And come to find out, they work at Naughty Dog. And with the intergalactic drama going on, doesn't it all add up? Also, they were the creative director at Rooster Teeth, which, I guess they creatively directed Rooster Teeth to the grave because they shut down in 2024. But let's continue on with the preview here.
I want to see more creators that look like me.
There's been a lot of examples of representation of black people in games that have rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay. So what she's saying is there's a representation of black people in gaming that have rubbed her and others the wrong way. Well, yeah, a lot of people have called that out, actually. People like me, other YouTubers, people on social media, gamers in general have called out a lot of these bad representations of black people in video games. Because really, the representation, at least recently, of black people in video games is bad. It needs to be improved because it's done so haphazardly. Like, here's the thing. Okay, anytime there is a new black character that's typically like the protagonist or something like that, it's attached to a game that is virtue signaling. We see games like Dustborn, right? And it makes this very bad feedback loop of pushing out these characters with games that are awful. And really, they're just kind of there because it's part of the virtue signal. I think that's not fair. And also, the majority of black representation in video games recently has been lazy race swaps. And that is very offensive because what it's saying is that you're not worthy of having an original story with an original character that's actually good. Instead, these studios say, nope, you just deserve a lazy race swap that we're doing to earn virtue signaling points, and you better be happy about it. I find that very offensive, and people like me have been calling that out for a very long time, but because people like that don't agree with us, they don't like our message, they won't acknowledge that's going on. And also on top of that, we have seen countless examples of black people who criticize these points, right? They go against the narrative that's being shared in videos like this, and everyone around them, the tolerant people, immediately turn on them and call them Uncle Toms and all these other horrible things. It happens over and over again.
The moment I heard like, oh, we don't want to help you because we don't know that many black folks, I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it myself.
I'm going to be real, I don't think that happened, but whatever. It's just a small comment here, but yeah, press X to doubt on that one. Also, can we talk about the audio on this? I don't know if it's just me, but the audio on this is atrocious. I don't know if Twitter fried it or something, but also the music is way too loud compared to the actual speaking. But anyways. Alysa Marante jump scare. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Gaming While Black film, we're going to be hearing from Alysa Marante. She's going to speak in just a second, but this is quite unbelievable. Bro thinks she's on the team. It's so crazy. This is like a male feminist trying to speak on female issues, speaking over women. That's the type of vibe we're getting here. But there's something about this, right, that's very confusing. So we've seen multiple examples here of Alysa Marante setting this up. This has been in works for quite some time, and she has this photo with two people involved with this. So you have this Aaron Shawnee person who's private. I don't know. Typical person involved in the industry, probably got criticized once and immediately privated their account. But then we have Jamal Page, who's the creative director and producer at Black Sparrow Pro, which is making this film. And he had this to say, quoting the picture, saying, "When I think badass, I'm going to think Alysa Marante now." Yeah, bro's been compromised at this point. I don't know what this is. Is it just like he has a very bad judge of character with her? Is he not seeing how she's perceived? Because including her in this whole thing, not only is it just funny from the optics, right? She's speaking in a documentary or a film that's supposed to be about black gamers, but also she has a very negative, toxic reputation, and it's going to bring a lot of heat onto this, and heat that is not going to translate into any sort of tangible support. But I don't know, again, misjudgment of her character or just openly embracing who she is. Either way, it's not a very good look, but let's continue on.
Just because, like, I happen to be black doesn't mean, like, get him show, like, black things. Like, oh, like, he listens to rap, he likes basketball. Like, I grew up playing baseball. I love hockey. I'm Canadian.
Ding, ding, ding. Bro spitting. That great. I'm glad we all agree. That's something that people like myself and many others have said over and over again. What's most important is the quality of the character, not, pigeonholing these stereotypical traits just to give what some people believe is good representation. No, just focus on making a character good, and then things like the race of the character are just like secondary traits that shouldn't be the main focus. And that statement has been criticized by people in the industry. A lot of the people even involved in this film, they've dismissed it as something that is racist or intolerant, when it's literally just a fair opinion. I think leads to actual high quality representation by making a good character and then having the other traits to go along with it. It's very, very strange. And also, I see the irony here too of him saying he doesn't like these stereotypical traits, and then in the background there's hip hop music playing. Like, very ironic, unfortunately.
Just make the person great who just happens to be black.
I'm sorry, I paused it a couple seconds too early. There it is. Make a great person, just happens to be black. And you can say that about every other race of video game characters, and it all works out good. That's how you make a good game, good story, and a good character. That's all there is to it.
Sometimes to write for black voices, you need a black voice behind it.
That's not true. There are countless examples, I don't think this is hard to believe, where white people have written good black characters and black people have written good white characters. I don't think that's too big of a claim to say. I mean, just look at the classic example people bring up. Who made Black Panther? A white dude. I mean, that's really all you need to know, and that's been going on throughout media for a very long time. So I just think that's kind of a ridiculous point to make. So dramatic.
We stand with the people who work at our studio. We stand with a more diverse industry.
No, you don't.
We support the concept of a more diverse industry, telling more diverse stories. There's plenty of games out there for you to buy. If you don't like this, don't buy it.
Unbelievable. Instant meme right there. That last statement. We'll get to that in just a second, but there's so much to unpack with Alysa Marante and her contribution to this Gaming While Black film. Number one, she talks about hating or wanting to support more diverse stories. No, you don't. Because if you support diverse stories, that means you support all stories. And you would not, 100% would not support a white story because she hates white people. It's very obvious. She says you can't be racist against white people. She has many tweets disparaging white people, telling people to beat up white people, saying old white men don't belong in the industry, all of these things. It's very clear those stories don't matter to her, so she does not support diverse stories. Now, this other part here about support, right? We support these narratives, support films like the one we're talking about today. The support just isn't there. It really isn't. We've seen a lot of examples like with Black Girl Gamers. We've talked about that channel. On Twitter, they pop off, right? All of the activists in the industry constantly promote their stuff because it's good for their optics. But then you go to their YouTube channel and they're getting like 40 views a video because people who are virtue signaling as a form of support for them don't actually engage with their content. They just like how it makes them look when they comment briefly on a tweet on Twitter. Because to them, supporting an agenda is more important than supporting a person. And that shows itself time and time again. And the support for this film is a great example of this. So on the Black Sparrow Media website here, you can see the donate here link. Now, I don't know if there's just an issue on my end, but when I click on this, it gives me an error. And the most recent screenshot I could find, which was from earlier this morning, was this, right? Here is their fundraiser. In about a month, you can see the oldest donation being 25 days ago. In about a month, they have raised $370. $370. And only 5 total people have donated. And one of them, who gave the lion's share of this fundraiser, is anonymous. So we don't even know who that is. Might have been themselves. So this is the supports that we're seeing. I don't see Alysa Marcante's name up here. I don't see any of the people from this film up on here, or at least the people who came to speak with the film creators. And I don't see the usual suspects on Twitter doing anything either. This is a terrible look for everyone involved with this. It shows that these people, they like to virtue signal, but when it comes to put up or shut up in terms of money, they just don't show up. And it's pretty crazy that they get so little support. And also looking at the Black Sparrow Media account here, this is the team making this film, 61 followers. I'm not saying that to like dunk on them, you know, who cares how many followers they have, but in terms of supporting, wouldn't like the whole crop of these activists be rallying behind this account? Only 61 followers. And I look at the follower count because, or who's following them, right? I didn't see like anyone, hardly anyone from the film actually following this group, which they're trying to support by participating in. They care way more about having this cameo and being on public display than actually supporting the person and the group who is making it. And I think that just shows, again, everything is so performative. But also I want to go back to the end of that clip where she makes this meme-worthy quote right here.
There's plenty of games out there for you to buy. If you don't like this, don't buy it.
That is hilarious. I'm so glad that it's Cabrutus Rambo here who's sharing that clip, because the irony of what Alysa Marante is saying is just through the roof, okay? So the entire movement of Sweet Baby Ink Detected, the Steam group that Cabrutus set up, was to list games that Sweet Baby Inc. was a part of, and then people would choose whether or not to play that game, knowing Sweet Baby worked on it. It's literally the same message she is saying right here. If you don't like the games, don't buy them. If you don't like Sweet Baby products, don't buy them. However, Alysa Marante views what she's saying right now as some girl boss move. But earlier this year, she was making articles and framing what Cabrutus and Sweet Baby Ink Detected was doing as harassment. The irony and the hypocrisy is insane. It's through the roof. I mean, it should be expected at this point, but still, it's pretty flabbergasting to see how just lacking of self-awareness a lot of these people are. And of course, with this quote too, we'll take you up on that. Like, that's what we want to do anyways. We're not going to support garbage, just because we want to score virtue signaling points like people, these activists do all the time. But also, have to point this out. This is now a part of a legendary collection right here. Let's hear some similar comments made in the past on this same sort of logic.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Period, queen.
We be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Peace.
Problems.
Classic.
Plenty of games out there for you to buy. If you don't like this, don't buy it.
Unbelievable. Straight to the archives, preserved forever. Yeah, as you can see, unfortunately for Alysa, the last two examples there, they did not end very well. When you tell people to just not support you, if they don't like you, well, guess what? That's exactly what they're going to do. They're not going to support you. Now, there's one more small portion of this I want to play for a reason I'm going to explain in just a second.
Like, I want them to understand that, like, this is for you, like, in a real way.
Okay, so very brief statement there, but I bring that up because that individual is named Khif Positivity Peddler Adams, who has always been involved in the related discourse, constantly talking about any sort of various topics we talked about today in that film we were looking at. But he is someone, again, if we're talking support, he is someone who has a reputation for constantly publicly begging for codes. He doesn't want to actually pay for these games he's claiming he supports. And recently he got clowned on for asking for a Dragon Age code. Like, he can't play the game without the code. And even people on his own side were saying, this is embarrassing, this is a bad look. You're giving these right-wing grifters ammo, be smarter. And then he replies with all this cope and then says, be better. Yeah, I get it, right? Access media. Your job gives you the ability to get these codes, but it's a very bad look for someone who claims they're supporting these various studios to go out there every single time a new game's coming out and saying, please give this to me for free. It's kind of ridiculous. And on top of that, he has a connection to this whole film itself way back in March of last year, where he helped try to raise funds for Black Sparrow Media by giving them a spotlight on his podcast here. But the thing that's odd about this, and the reason I'm pointing this out, is because it appears that Black Sparrow Media already had a fundraiser for this film, which is kind of interesting because you can see it's a dead link, by the way, it doesn't work anymore, and it's Gaming While Black. So it's a fundraiser specifically for the film we're talking about, but that is no longer available. And that's kind of odd to me. Like, what was that initial fundraiser for? Was it for something else? A different stage of the production? Or are they simply getting rid of that previous one and kind of double dipping with the current one by re-releasing the fundraiser campaign on a different platform? Just something to pay attention to. But I also bring up Khif Adams because we have this photo right here of Alysa Marante and Khif back in November at Compulsion Games. Why is that relevant? Well, there's a lot of drama going on currently with Compulsion Games, and there's been drama going on for quite some time. Okay, they are based in Montreal, and they are developing the game South of Midnight, which features a race swap, and also it makes a lot of sense when you think about it because they are a Sweet Baby Inc. client. This is the old client list, and you can see Compulsion Games right here. Now, recently they gave this little teaser of South by Midnight, and people are debating on it. I don't really have much to say on this. Either you like it or you don't. That's pretty much the mixed reaction to this. There's not really a whole lot to see other than just jumping around here, right? But people are now raising some previous grievances involving this company and also one of its community managers. Specifically, this Katie person with the @Pika Chulita, who has said, honestly, I hate gamers. She also said this, talking about the scum-sucking filth in the gaming community. She said, we also need to be very honest about the elephant in the room. The majority of the perpetrators are white/white adjacent cis hetero men. I gotta ask, What the F is wrong with y'all? Okay, that's pretty disparaging. Also, Smash JT would point out that in a interview, she would also describe white male gamers as a mistake. And don't worry, that label of white gamers actually expands, as she kind of hinted at earlier. She refers to Asian people as whites adjacent. So I guess welcome to the team, any Asian viewers right now. I guess you're white now, according to this person. But you can see that coupled with her post talking about how she's proud to announce that she has joined the Compulsion Games team as the community manager. And it's just hilarious because what happened? All that drama happened earlier this year in March with her tweets, and she's just still there. Except she's now private, like everyone does. All these people, what they do is the second they get criticism, they just go private and hope everyone forgets. And unfortunately, that's not the case, and the bio here is just hilarious. But anyways, I want to show one more thing, just because we saw Smash JT raising some of the points, where he also raised that Compulsion Games has preemptively blocked him so he can't actually engage directly with that teaser for South of Midnight. But some people are starting to argue with him saying, good, I can't stand you idiots either. And he says, I don't even know who you are. And then this person says, studios need to start blocking more of you clowns. You don't like a game, go play something else. Wow, I guess they really didn't learn their lesson. They're using that same logic again. Well, challenge accepted. We will not be buying this game. But anyways, long story short, that is the connection between this film and some of its participants and the current drama with Compulsion Games. As you can see, despite the industry being so big, often can feel so small, where it's like the same bad actors coming together all the time to cause trouble and to add gasoline to the fire. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.